I just completed a 30-day sprint. It's what I call a millionaire sprint. And in those 30 days, I bootstrapped a new business, extensively grew one of my companies, Paired Recruiting, spent $7,000 on 2 new domains, posted 47 videos, worked out 24 times, made over $200,000 in profit, hired 6 people, fired 2 people, and still hung out with my friends and my girlfriend, and did a ton of other activities. So how do I actually do this? Well, I call it the millionaire sprint. It's something that I do when I really want to speed up everything and grow super fast. So yeah, in this video, I'll show you what you need to do if you want to do your own millionaire sprint. And what I'll say is that it's highly replicable. It follows a very simple structure, but it really does require you to be all in. So do you want to see a year of progress in just 30 days? Well, if you do, let's go. So essentially the millionaire sprint starts with a pen and a notebook. Yes, you can use a computer for what I'm about to show you. You can type it out on a keyboard like most people will do, but I find that physically writing things out, it hits different. And at least for me, it makes me more likely to actually follow through. So in your notebook, this is what you're going to write. 1, a promise to yourself and why you want to actually do the sprint. 2, a very specific list of goals you want to accomplish in the next 30 days. 3, what things you're going to limit, because of course you're gonna have to make some sacrifices. So this will likely include things like TV, Netflix, screen time on your phone, as well as hanging out with your friends. And then 4, your reward at the end. Don't do this right now, watch the rest of this video, but I encourage you guys, after you're done with this video, don't go about and carry on the rest of your day without actually doing this exercise. Even if you're not trying to do your own 30-day sprint right now, this will be helpful to do. It's gonna be very insightful, and it's likely going to encourage you to want to do that 30-day sprint. Now, after you've written this down, you'll want to post it up on your wall. Put it in a place that you look at every single day. Don't put it in a back room that you don't really see a lot. I find that putting it in front of your desk is a great place, maybe on your fridge, somewhere that has a lot of traffic and that you will see constantly. It doesn't need to be pretty, it doesn't need to be formatted correctly, all that stuff. It just needs to be there. So now let's talk about some of the things that I really recommend prioritizing on your millionaire sprint, as well as like a sort of basic structure of how your days should look. Now, of course, this is gonna be different for everyone. Everyone has their own priorities. Everyone has their own schedules already in place. And so this is just what I did. This is my own personal schedule. So I encourage you guys, just take parts of it, incorporate what works for you into your own schedule. And yeah, not everything that I do, you need to do as well, right? So the first thing I wanna talk about is gonna be your morning schedule. And for most people, I recommend having some type of morning routine. Now, if you've watched any of my videos, you know that I talk extensively about how big of an impact this has had on my life. Essentially, my entire life completely changed once I started doing a morning routine. I know it sounds dumb. I know it sounds like not possible, but guys, the second I implemented a morning routine, the growth in my life just went up. And it doesn't have anything to do with just waking up early. Instead, it has everything to do with structure as well as holding yourself accountable. I recommend waking up early because that's what worked for me. And it allowed me to have some alone time where it was still relatively dark outside, where I could write my goals for the day. I could practice my visualizations. I could write down the things that I was grateful for. I could practice meditation, read books, stuff like that, that allows you to work on yourself, right? It's not you working on your business. Doing this really starts my day off on a good start. It gives me a lot of momentum. And I'll tell you guys, the things you do in the morning, if they're related to self-improvement, have a huge impact on everything. But yeah, like I said, this really depends on you. Some people are night people. They don't want to do this. They work a lot better at night, and sure, that's okay. But just from personal experience, you guys, I used to be a night person myself. I literally would work out at about 9, 10 p.m. every single night. But just switching this up, changing it to where I was super focused in the morning, it just was absolutely a game changer. So yeah, on my 30-day millionaire sprint, I woke up early every single day. I practiced my morning routine, and I went to the gym in the morning. All this stuff, it doesn't move the needle for your business or whatever you're trying to create. It moves the needle for you yourself. Hey guys, so real quick, if you guys don't yet have your own website, then you are missing out on a lot of potential income and opportunities. And I know everyone watching a video about a millionaire sprint wants more of that in their lives. My first website is one of my businesses, and we can basically help you set up your website for free. The process is super simple. You guys can go to our website and learn more. But yeah, whether it be a portfolio, blog, resume, business website, whatever, we got you. The link is down below, and yes, we won't offer this service forever, so make sure you guys take advantage of it right now. And now back to the video. So now let's talk about the actual core of the sprint, right? The morning routine, it is important, but it's not the most important part. The core of the millionaire sprint is gonna be deep work sessions. Every deep work session should be ideally between 2 to 3 hours long. And during the sprint, you're gonna need to do multiple of these per day. What I recommend doing is having 10 to 14 hours of deep work sessions every single day during these 30 days. Yes, I know it's very, very challenging. It's It's not very sustainable, but that's sort of like the point, right? We're not trying to do this for the entire year. And in those 30 days, you'll see some insane progress in your life. Without those deep work sessions, you just can't do it. It's not possible. Yeah, you can work a few hours a day and probably still see some good results. But if you want to see really, really big results, then there's no getting around those 10 to 14 hours. Essentially what I did was I clocked every hour I worked. And at the end of the day, I checked to see if I worked enough. If I didn't, then I made it the next day, or I just worked throughout the night. With the proper deep work sessions, every hour of work should equate to maybe 3 to 4 hours of normal work. The fact is that most people, when they work, they're not very productive. They're checking their phone, they're doing other things, they have other things on their mind. But if you really just focus on the work and you're really, really motivated to do the work, that's when the efficiency of those work periods get close to 100%. Now, during my millionaire sprint, I wasn't just working on busy work. I was not doing tasks that I could just have someone else on my team do. That would not be a good use of my time. That wouldn't count as a deep work session. And yeah, that's really why I focused my time on things that were super high ROI, return on investment. Usually for someone that's an operator, these activities are going to be brainstorming as well as working on the vision and growth of the company. It also includes things like building out systems, SOPs, as well as hiring for your team. We'll talk more about your team, or I guess the possible lack of a team, later on in this video, but let's talk about first these high ROI activities. Something that really resonates with me and something that I spent the majority of my time doing over those past 30 days was doing things that did not result in guaranteed money. Brainstorming ideas does not directly translate into income. Working on your company's vision doesn't directly grow your income. Hiring a team member doesn't directly grow your income. In fact, it actually costs money. This is a very important concept that I really want you guys to hang on to tight, because if you spend your time during your millionaire sprint doing things that directly translate to money, such as trading your time, for example, tutoring or researching for a video or something like that, then that's not called a millionaire sprint. That's called a worker sprint. A worker sprint has literally zero leverage in it. And without leverage, there's no way you're doing really high ROI activities. So just think, if you're doing a lot of stuff that you could easily hire out and have someone else do it for you, then that's not the right activity. That's something you should actually build a team to do for you. Instead, you need to do things that only you yourself can do that does not directly translate into income. So that sort of brings us to leverage, right? You need to incorporate leverage into your life. I don't care where in life you're at. If you're making at least a few $1,000s per month, you need to start putting in leverage. This is one of the biggest mistakes I ever made, because once I started making money, I want to hold on to all of it. I didn't want to hire team members. I wanted to just learn and do it myself. And as a result, the growth of whatever I was working on was always a lot slower than it could have been. Don't hang on to your money, because one, you'll pay taxes on it. Instead, what you guys can do with that money is actually, if you believe in your business, invest into the business itself. And that's likely going to be into software or your team. So what I like to think is one of the highest leverage things you guys can do is delegate work. If you spend the majority of your time thinking about how you can delegate work to other people, building out the systems in order to be able to do that, then that is a very, very high ROI activity. This is such a good use of your time, because let's say every hour you spend figuring out how to delegate or building a team or SOPs, stuff like that, that can translate into, let's say, 10, 20, 30 hours of actual work being done. That's 10, 20, 30 hours of output that you don't need to do, and it's output that you are just directing. That's one of the easiest definitions of leverage, because we're taking 1 hour of your time and turning it into, let's say, 30 hours of output. For example, on my millionaire sprint, I built out a website. Instead of me building out the website myself, learning how to use WordPress or Webflow or whatever, I brainstormed for that website. I created a rough outline. I told my COO, hey, we need to hire this person. We need to build this out. And all that stuff was set up and carried out. It's sort of like a symphony, right? And by having a bunch of people working in tandem, that's when we can start seeing a lot of speed growth within your business. Beyond teams and systems, it's also really important to work on your marketing. So if you are a business owner, you already understand marketing is one of the most important things, because without marketing, you don't get any clients and you can't show off your good product or service. And so yeah, me creating videos, it's actually a really good use of my time. All of my companies have a media company behind it. And so me setting up those media companies, it's a great ROI of my time. If I do a webinar talking about how paired recruiting can help people, save 80, 90% on their talent costs, that is a great leveraged use of my time. And really all this stuff can sort of be summarized and categorized as activities that don't directly translate into income, right? Again, I really want to, talk about that concept, because to actually move the needle, you need to focus on things that create systems that go and make money for you. Obviously, I'm pretty passionate about this topic. I made so much progress in that 30-day millionaire sprint, and that's why I really want you guys to try it out. When it comes down to it, 24 hours in a day is a lot of time. If you're intentional and you don't have a ton of things you need to take care of, like kids or whatever else, then you can can be doing productive things for maybe 16 hours per day. And with all your time, you're gonna want to be just really, really intentional with it. Don't let things happen just because they happen, right? Do things because you wanted them to happen. And so yeah, in my millionaire sprints, I was very intentional on going to the gym. I was very intentional with my rest. I prioritized being efficient with my errands. I prioritized being efficient with my eating. I hired out all errands and chores. I didn't do that myself. And I still wanted to see friends because without friends, life is just super boring, but you can be extremely intentional about time that you spend hanging out. So now let's do a quick Q&A about my millionaire sprint. I think these are some questions that you'll have, and hopefully these answers can give you some good insights on what it's like to actually do the sprint. The first thing is, what are some specific things you did to actually increase your productivity during the sprint? One is I always had my phone in a different room. Definitely do that. Second is I use the gym as a break, right? This is called active rest. And so I'd always gym after working. That way I could clear my head and come back refreshed. Also listen to audiobooks while at the gym and while walking my dog. And I did my TV watching while eating. Ideally, I wouldn't watch TV at all, but I do like watching TV. And so if you're eating, you might as well watch TV and use that as your rest period. I also had a good amount of caffeine. It definitely works. And I also changed my work location a good amount. If I were to work in the same room for 14 hours a day, I would literally go crazy. Next question is, how much did I sleep? For me, it was a minimum of 7 hours per night. This is something that I was really not willing to sacrifice on because I know that if I don't sleep well, then my productivity is not gonna be good. And yeah, just don't trade sleep for work, trust me. Also, everyone's sleep requirements are gonna be different. So what works for me might not work for you, and you know yourself the best. Third question is, why would you actually want to do the sprint? It seems like torture. I really think that most people really underestimate how much stuff they can do within 1 month. If you wanna make huge progress on your business or whatever you're working on, then these sprints will do that when done right. But yeah, you do have to be very, very motivated. Otherwise, you will not get through the 30 days. And that's why that first activity we talked about where you wrote those things down, that's so important. And last question is it fun? Well, this is a hard one to answer. I'd say that I thought it was fun. I thought it was exciting. I thought it was really fulfilling, but that's because I was deeply motivated. If you're not motivated, this is gonna be torture. It's not gonna be fun. You're not gonna enjoy those 30 days. But something I always say is that work can be extremely fun if it's something that you are really interested in. It's super boring if you're doing boring things. So I'm not doing boring things. I enjoy everything I do. And so as a result, I find these sprints really, really fun. I know it's something that everyone says, but yeah, if you can find something to do that you're passionate about, then work really becomes a lot easier and these sprints become super fun. Again, I want to say, do this with caution. Don't just do this just for the sake of it. You need to have a lot of motivation and drive in what you're doing to get through this. So yeah, if you don't, then I don't suggest it. But yeah, that's basically the millionaire sprint. This is what I just finished doing. And if you can do maybe 2 of these per year, that's going to have a huge effect on the trajectory of your growth and business. And yeah, essentially I want you guys to see financial success as early as possible. So that's why I wanted to make this video. If you guys do want some help with finding team members overseas, that will save you 80-90% on payroll costs. And that's how I built a team of almost 20 people right now while staying at over 90% profit margins. Then yeah, the link to Paired is going to be down below. This is my business and I would love to help you out. If you guys got some value from this video, make sure to hit that like button and also subscribe for more content just like this. I make a ton of videos about personal finance, investing, and entrepreneurship. Thank you so much for your time. I'll see you in the next video. Peace.